a safe harbor as a client service advocate, helping survivors of human trafficking and domestic and sexual abuse. For more than a year, she's worked in this role to provide access to resources and developing survivors' job skills. In the fall, Abby will begin her graduate studies in the VCU Master of Social Work program and continuing her burgeoning career with a passionate dedication to public service. Welcome, Abby.
Well, hi, everybody. Thank you, Dean Gooden, for that awesome introduction. I want to say hello to family, friends, faculty, and staff, but most importantly, say congratulations to the class of 2023. Let's get it together. Looking back on these past 4 years has been an interesting experience, to say the least. 4 years is a long time. Many of us can look back on our driver's licenses or even our student ID cards from 2019 or our freshman year and think, wow, college has aged me. I was reading an article by John Houchin where he listed a couple of things that you can do in 4 years. He talks about how you can get your purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, learn to speak fluent Mandarin, and even become an intermediate guitar player. But the one thing that he didn't mention was that you can graduate with your bachelor's degree. But on a more serious note, most of us were 18 when we stepped foot onto this campus. We wondered how in the world we were expected to know what we wanted to do with the rest of our lives. We stepped into a new season, a new location, a new community, a new chosen family. Not even a year into our college career, the pandemic ripped us away from the people we just started to refer to as home. We had to navigate the last of our general education classes and figure out what it might look like to take the first step into our career paths with internships and fellowships. Because of the work of medical professionals, we've been able to learn a community with one another for the past 2 years. And don't get me wrong, our professors are great, and I mean really, really great, but I've learned so much from those of you that I've shared classes with. The Wilder School has been a place where all viewpoints are welcomed, and a place where we can feel safe to have hard conversations about what's going on in the world around us. It is because of the community that I found with you all that I feel prepared for whatever comes next. Today, we sit here in this room, having overcome incredible obstacles, experienced tremendous joys, and sat in a lot of confusion. But each of us are in this room today because we persisted. We endured. We had hope that the past 4 years of work would amount to something greater than we could have ever imagined. Our time at VCU can be characterized by each of our individual victories. If you really think about it, you can have multiple small victories in a singular day. So just think about how many you've had over your time in college. It's a victory to get out of bed every morning. It's a victory to be confident in a paper you submitted. It's a victory to have friends that will check up on you. One of the greatest victories of all might even be finding out that someone in your class has already made a Quizlet for the exam. But in the midst of our victories, I'm sure we've all experienced a few failures. We're here today because we haven't let those failures define us. In fact, we can even be thankful for them, might even be rejoicing in them, because trials produce endurance, endurance produces character, and character produces hope. Each of these victories and failures, regardless of how big or small they are, have shaped us into who we are right now. They might have given us a greater understanding of who we are and who we aspire to be. For some of us, we got the dream job. We're starting in the field we've been thinking about since our freshman year. But some of us might not be in a place we didn't think we'd be. A lot of us are getting ready to part ways with the very people who played a vital role in our lives over the past 4 years. And all of us are about to experience a lot of change, whether we like it or not. But wherever it is that you're headed, whether that's in the workforce or back to school, you wouldn't have gotten there without the accomplishment that we're celebrating today. I want to say thank you to the Wilder School, faculty, staff, and most importantly, the family and friends who have come today to support us and celebrate us as we take this next big step into the world. You are the ones who sacrificed for us, cried with us, and who continue to share our joy as we reach milestone after milestone. I feel that it's important to emphasize that your job and your career do by no means determine your worth. Yes, you might be hoping for a different outcome than you're dealing with, but your circumstances don't define you. The greatest thing that anyone has ever taught me is that the person I am and the characteristics that I embody have never once been an outcome of the things I'm doing. A good bit of you will have heard this before, because if you've ever taken a class with Dr. Pritchard, this is the very thing he opens first class with. He says, no matter your race, your religion, your gender, your sexuality, who you voted for, you are welcome here, and I want you to know that you are loved. And more importantly, you are worthy of being loved. This is something I aspire to not only live my own life by, but how I aspire to consistently treat others, because after all, the way we treat others is a lot about ourselves. I hope that when each one of you look back at this season of your life, you don't turn back and are haunted by the term papers, the tests, or the deadlines, but you take a look at everything you've learned and everything you've accomplished and think that this is the best thing that's ever been done, because no one can take your education away from you. Remember this feeling when you look back at the pictures that your family is eventually going to pass around, the feeling of pride and of accomplishment of everything that today holds, because you are worthy of the celebration. Congratulations, graduates.